Thank you for joining us for the 2-minute drills. I'm Aram Salegian, joined by Steve Ramirez and Fred J. Robledo behind the camera.
Right here.
We're going to talk about two games right now, a Central Division 2-for-1. The big game of the week in the Palomares League, Glendora taking on Bonita, both teams 5-1, and then the big game in the Hacienda League, Charter Oak taking on Diamond Ranch. I believe that's
both
also
teams 5-1. Both teams 5-1.
Yeah.
Someone's one must go.
Yeah. We'll jump back to Bonita and Glendora real quick, because the difference between this game and the Charter Oak Diamond Ranch game is that both teams in this game didn't start off league play with wins. Only Glendora did that. Bonita is 0-1.
Heartbreaker last week.
Bonita's 0-1, and they're faced with the possibility of being 0-2, which would be disastrous for their league title hopes.
Not only that, I mean, these first two games were at home. I mean, you could start 0-2 in league, and you're with two home losses, having to really fight for the playoffs, having to win out to guarantee yourself that third spot.
Scary
tough spot to be in
for the Bearcats
when they're 5-0 and they've had such a great year.
Yeah,
and beating some
one
good
of the
teams.
better teams in the area. But they are, because of that loss last week and the way it went down with Claremont. You wonder. I mean, you really wonder. I mean, they got their hearts broken last week, and now here comes Matt Fink and Glendora, and they could really give a rat's behind about, Bonita being down about this. They're going to want to step on their throats. And they did, I believe, just that last year. I mean, I think Glendora had a relatively easy time in this game. This is take no prisoner time in this league, guys. I mean, Freddie, you want to talk about this? There's no margin for error in this league. I mean, this is a really close, tight league. Yeah,
I mean, at the beginning of the year, I thought Bonita was going to have a real shot at this league title. That game last week, losing to Claremont, that had to take a lot of air out of them. And now, with Glendora coming in, and I look at Glendora, I know they had that one blowout loss to Charter Oak. The more and more I think about that, that's just one of those bad matchups, a game that got away from them. The same way, to me, Charter Oak had that bad loss to La Mirada, a game that just got away from them. I think if you play both of those games again, they'd be closer games. The results might not change, but I think they would have been more of what we expected going in. I just still think a lot of Glendora, because I think Matt Fink is the best player in this division, and when he can put his fingerprints on games like he did last week, like he's done in just about every other game except that Charter Oak game, I think he's virtually unstoppable. And I think Bonita is going to have a huge problem with him again on Friday night. And look, their defense has been pretty good. Except for the Charter Oak game, it's been pretty solid. And Bonita's put up a lot of points. And to me, that's where this game is going to be won or lost. I think Matt Fink is going to get his, but will Glendora be able to impose herself defensively and slow or stop that Bonita offense? Because even in last week's loss, it was a shootout. They scored a lot of points, and they've been scoring points all year. So something has to give in that regard.
Yeah, I'm kind of in agreement with that. I mean, I just don't think Bonita has an answer for Fink. I mean, he's been the best player in that league, and I just can't see them stopping him. And I'm not sure. And they have a decent offense. They have a decent quarterback too. But but I'm not sure they would be able to keep up with that.
Yeah, that needs to be Bonita's answer, as its own offense, and QB Tanner East and the receiver B.J. McLaurin. That has to be their answer. I think they're up against it in this game, guys. Best player on the field type thing here, and two teams that when either is on defense, they're pretty even. In that situation, give me, like I said, best player on the field. I think this game's going to be relatively close, but I expect Glendora to pull it out. Let's pick it and get back to Charter Oak Diamond Ranch here, Freddie.
Yeah, I got Glendora in a close one.
Glendora in a close one.
Yeah,
you're wearing the red here,
Well,
so
that's just.
Come on, Tardy.
Yeah.
I've got Glendora.
Okay, Stevie's got Glendora as well. Okay, so there's our clean sweep there. Now moving back to the other big league that we cover in the Central Division, the Hacienda League. Diamond Ranch proves it's no fluke last week.
Yeah,
they go to West Covina. They fall behind pretty good. And their defense kind of gets worked over a little bit, compared to what it had done the previous 4 or 5 weeks. But they score 50 points and get out of West Covina with the win. They set the stage for this game against Charter Oak. They have one of the better weapons in the leagues in Davion Gacy, the running back. I don't know. I think they're in trouble here athletes-wise because, you know, if this is athlete versus athlete, Charter Oak's got a huge edge over just about anyone in the division, let alone Diamond Ranch. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think Diamond Ranch, they're another team. That win over West Covina last week, I think, just kind of, at least from a confidence standpoint, had to do a lot for them. I mean, their only loss, remember, guys, first game of the year to South Hills, a game that looks terrible on paper when you look at it, but it was so long ago now. And the thing you have to remember is their offense, if you look at what they've done since, has proven to be a pretty good offense. I mean, putting more than 50 on the board against West Covina. So I think you can kind of throw that game away and really kind of not look at that game as, the difference in a game like this when you try to compare scores.
Yeah, but if you're giving up 43 to West Covina, what are you giving up to Charter Oak? That's my problem.
53 or more?
53 or more.
Which is going to get to my next point. They ain't got a chance in this game. I know. There's a lot of feel good. They needed, and that fourth quarter against West Covina, they needed miracle after miracle, break after break to happen, and it happened.
Yeah.
That ain't happening this week.
Yeah.
That ain't happening this week.
This has always been a game that Diamond Ranch, especially when Leighton was the coach, that they kind of circled, and a couple times they met him twice. You know, they met him in the championship game, but they could never make enough plays to win this game. And I kind of see the same thing. Yeah,
Coach Welker, same thing as Leighton, though. I mean, when I talked to him for the Football Preview magazine, that like one of the first things out of his mouth is like, I know who I'm playing in this league. And he talked about Charter Oak, knowing what they have and knowing, the kind of athletes they have. Coach Welker knows exactly, what he's going up against here. He knows the right game to circle on the calendar. You're going to get another good shot from Diamond Ranch, but again, when we're talking...
And don't think Diamond Ranch doesn't have athletes either, because they do.
But here's the difference between Charter Oak and the rest of this league. We saw Zion Eccles go off last week, and he's the best player in the league. But Charter Oak can pass, and the rest of the league can't. That's the difference. They have a passing game. And I'm not just talking about, roll out and hit the tight end, curling 10 yards downfield. They got a QB in Cam Brown that can actually read the defense a little bit. If one guy's not there, he goes to the next guy, that type of thing. And I wrote about that in the offseason. That combination of Eccles and a passing game with Cam Brown, too much for this league. I got Charter Oak big. In this
you're making me. I just can't wait till week 14 now when Charter Oak plays San Marino in the CIF championship game. That's gonna be so great.
That may be a 5-hour game.
I don't know if San Marino's...
Hope they started at 6 o'clock.
I don't know if San Marino's going to a 14th game, but yeah, they could. They just might. I got Charter Oak really big in this game. Stevie, how do you... I mean, you have Charter Oak, but big, small?
I would say...
Medium?
I would say medium. I think it'll be close for a while, but Charter Oak will just make too many plays and pull away.
Yeah, I mean, if you ask me the over-under on Charter Oak, 50 points, I'm going with the over. I do think they're going to score a lot of points, and they're defensively, they'll probably hold Diamond Ranch to 20 or less, so you're looking at a 30-point blowout.
Watch out for this Charter Oak team, folks. They're getting better and better every week. They really are. This could be a really special team here in the making. We're talking 13-1.
Could Lou get his 6th championship? Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
That's kind of what I'm...
He's going after Michael Jordan, fellas.
Look at the Glendora game.
Lou Farrar going after Michael Jordan.
Look at the Glendora game defensively.
Air Farrar.
And look at what they do offensively in this kind of game. Charter Oak really is putting something together here. So, anyways, get out to this game. Freddie, where is this game? Is this at Diamond Ranch?
Charter Oak.
Oh, it's at Charter Oak. Okay, on Friday night. Everybody enjoy it.